everybody, Matt here back again with another video for you. Today I'm going to be telling you my thoughts on the comic book series Kiss, Psycho, Circus. Now, in 1998 I was in 4th grade, and I remember going to the comic book store and seeing these 3 issues of Kiss, Psycho, Circus. And 1998, backing up a little bit, was a great time to get introduced to Kiss because they were doing their reunion tour. They were all over the place on TV again. They had toys coming out, so it was a great time to get introduced to them and become a member of the Kiss Army, if you will. And I saw these comic books in the store, and I remember just begging my mom to get me these comics, and thankfully she did. And they were the first comic books I really remember ever reading. Up until that point, whenever I got a comic, I would just look at the art. And that's not to say I didn't do that with Psycho Circus, I did that too. But I made a solid attempt to try to read and understand what was going on. I was able to read it, wasn't necessarily able to understand it, but it was still a really cool experience when that happened. Of course, the 3 issues I got were the first 3 parts of a big story arc that they were doing, and that month waiting for that 4th issue to come out was just absolutely eternal. I was just like, when is that coming out? When is that coming out? Going back every week, to see if it was there, and eventually it did come out. And speaking of the art, and just looking at the pictures, the art in the books was so detailed and so crazy and over the top that when you looked at it, the art told the story. It was very just visual. I mean, obviously, it was a comic book. It has to be, rely on its visuals, and because of that, the art told the story in a very cool way. And it was almost playing like rock and roll Where's Waldo, because you would look through it and you would see all these cool little hidden things in the background, like, Kiss's makeup design in like every, rock formation or wood grain or somebody's jewelry or something like that. It was really, really cool how they snuck in all these little references to the band and things like that. It had kind of a rough storyline, but it was really more like a Twilight Zone type thing. Like each issue was a different time, a different character, a different this, a different that. But the idea was similar to what they wanted to do with the Elder, these 4 elemental heroes that kind of oversaw the universe and kept order from chaos and things like that. And it just happened to be Kiss, and it just kind of happened to work, And as a kid, it was so cool because I had friends who liked music and artists and things like that, but none of them had their own comic book. I was like, look, Kiss has their own comic book, and it's so cool. I remember one issue in particular was The Year of the Fox, which kind of integrated a little bit the story of Eric Carr. And in fact, at the end of the issue, the guy gets the Eric Carr makeup, and it was really cool. And that one was set in feudal Japan and was really, really well designed with all kinds of cool Japanese stylistic characters and monsters and things like that. It was just so cool to see it done that way, and that was what was really cool about those issues, and looking back at them, how many different styles they produced those stories in. There was another 2-parter called World Without Heroes, which this was something they did a lot, where they integrated the mythos of the band, the meaning of songs, and the really rock and roll mythos of the whole thing. And to me as a kid, this was like the level of like Lord of the Rings, it was that kind of epic grand thing. And at that time, Kiss wasn't just a band to me, it was my world. They were really influencing me in a lot of ways. They were superheroes, they were mythic, and this comic book was like, validation of that. And I love the covers, I love the artwork, I love them working in all these little hidden nods and working in song titles and lyrics and things like that. I always thought that was so cool. And Kiss has had a lot of comic books over the years, but I don't think any had as much put into it as Psycho Circus did. It didn't run for very long, only a couple years, but it was, in my opinion, the best Kiss comic book series that they ever put out. I thought it was really, really good. They came out with toys for them, of course, and they were really cool. You got the Kiss guy, and then you got the Circus equivalent of it, because each one of them was represented by a member of the circus. Gene was the ringmaster, Peter was the beast trainer, Paul was was like this tragic clown type of character, and then Ace was this like contortionist, you know, stilt walker type dude. And I wish they would have continued on with that. I think they really could have done something really cool with it, and just kept building on that. But you know, I think it was a little hard for people to swallow, because it was like, well, it's Kiss at the end of the day. You know, these are the guys who wrote, you know, Love Gun and you know, Room Service and Rock and Roll Night and Party Every Day. So it was a little hard to take them as these mythical heroes, but it was still, to me, you know, a very important part of my childhood. I would always try to imitate the art style and fail horribly, and you know, it was really cool at the time, because it was something extra that a lot of other kids didn't have with the music that they liked and stuff, and it was really cool. And I hope that they do a trade paperback someday of everything. You know, I know they did like the Kiss Compendium, which is every comic, but I really don't want every comic. I just want Psycho Circus. But there aren't that many issues, so maybe I can hunt them down. But yeah, you know, if you're a Kiss fan and you like that kind of, you know, epic, you know, rock and roll mythos, rock and roll high fantasy, you know, I recommend checking it out. They're really, really cool. And like I said, a lot of them are self-contained little stories, almost like the Twilight Zone. So you can jump into one and, you know, just kind of go from there. And if not, just admire the art. You know, it's Image Comics, so guys who were working on Spawn and comics like that. So yeah, it was really, really cool. So those are my thoughts on Kiss Psycho Circus. I will see you guys next time.